All right, boys and girls, here we are again. So I guess I'm gonna do a little video about polishing aluminum. Uh, anyways, a hot rodder here at my little man cave garage, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, thought I'd make a little video about how to turn this into this right here. Okay. Um, I guess what I'll start off with, I might have to make it a two-part video, possibly even three. It does involve a lot of work to polish aluminum. If you got the right tools, you could do it quickly. You may think, well, you got all the tools, which I don't, but I will show you a trick on how to polish wheels simply if you have an old car. What I've done is I mounted the wheel on the car itself. So you may not need all this stuff. You know, you need polishers, sanders, orbiter sanders, straight sanders. The more tools you got, the better you're off. When you polish aluminum, it's got a lot of nicks and scratches and stuff. You know, you could barely see them there. But all this needs to come out. You know, all these scratches, see, I'll try to get in a little deeper. All this needs to come out. If you try to polish the wheel with all these little dents and stuff, what's going to transpire is you're just going to polish, aluminum, and that's not going to show up even more clearly. So you actually need an arsenal of tools to do this, but you necessarily don't need them. You can get around all this, but if you got the tools, it'll be quicker because it is time consuming. It takes time. And of course, the more time you take, see, like if you look at this wheel, there's no nicks and there's no scratches anywhere, because I took the time to remove it all. It's crazy. So I tried to sell these wheels and nobody bought them, so I decided I'd keep them, and I'm glad I did because I like to collect wheels, as you can see, and I've had all sorts of wheels. But anyways, we're luring off the subject. What I'll talk about is the tools that you're gonna need. I'm doing it with electric tools. You can use air tools. Probably go quicker if you do air tools, but I understand a lot of people don't have an 80-gallon air compressor and all the right tools to do that. Most people have, electric tools like a drill. You could use these kind of little buffing wheels, but actually it's a sander. They're sanding wheels is what they are. This one in particular is a 120 grit. Well, what this will do for you, see this little scratch here? So what you could do with this tool is, you just go back and forth, and the sandpaper will remove all these nicks and crannies. I've kind of found out that it's probably quicker and faster with a Dremel tool. These little Dremel tools, this one's in particular is 80 grit. This will cut quickly into all these little scratches. See, these actually it's kind of deep, believe it or not. It doesn't look like it, but it is deep. So a Dremel tool is essential. If you got a Dremel tool, you'll need it, and I recommend a Dremel tool. Now, if not, like I said, there's other ways of doing this. You don't got a Dremel tool, you can use an orbiter sander like this one, and they're fairly inexpensive. You can get one for about $60, Lowe's, anywhere. Now, if you don't have this, you could use what are these kind of sanders? Milwaukee. What they do is they kind of like go back and forth. So it's kind of like an orbiter sander as well, but it's in a square shape. This is a little bit more difficult to use on round surfaces, but you can use it. You can go around the edges of the rim and remove all the factory, blemishes, if you want to call them that. So this can work. Electric drill can work, but this is a little slower. Now, of course, if you go with the Orbiter sanders, Makita makes them, Milwaukee, DeWalt, they all make them, and they're fairly inexpensive. So these are great because it's orbital. It goes in circles, and it's also great because the rim's a circle itself, so you can get in these edges real nicely, and it won't bite the corners. So you're absolutely, in a good position to use something like this. It's good for flat surfaces. It's good for, round surfaces. There's a round surface here on the wheel itself. And there's surfaces that are around the wheel on the further edges. So this works great. And of course, they sell all sorts of sandpapers for them. So you're gonna need sandpaper. So, either you could use these kind, I don't want to say a brand, doesn't matter. But nevertheless, you start off with a high grade, like say 120, but I actually like to start off with like an 80 grit to start removing all the deep gashes and all the scratches that you might find. So you can see these little scratches in there. And this kind of sandpaper, the thicker the sandpaper, the lower the number. In other words, this is an 80 grit, which is very aggressive. This will remove aluminum like really fast. So you go in increments, and I'd like to jump over to 120. That's if I'm going to use the Orbiter sander, of course. So I like to use this. Now you can go up to 320. Okay, I got 320 here as well. 320 and then 400. After 400, what I like to do here, I'm going to remove this wheel from here. Let's see here. Well, I guess I could leave it here. From 400, I'd like to go over to either the square one. You can jump to 800. You can go over to 1,000, 1,200, and technically the finer the sandpaper, towards the end, the rim will start looking like polished just by simply sanding the rim. So once you get to like 1,500, even 2,000, you'll notice that the rim will look chrome already, or to a high polish. But after that, what you want to do next is use something like this, again, Makita, Craftsman, they'll make these. And you got these buffing wheels, some are very aggressive. Some you may not have to do all this sanding because the wheel itself is so aggressive. Like, see, this is a 320. So what it is this wheel is so aggressive that when you apply it to the rim, it could literally remove anything any blemishes or any scratches that you may find. This will do it with the help of the compound, of course. You need this compound, so you'll need, it's called Tripoli or Tripoli, whatever people call it, different names. But all it is a grease with sand in it, which is very aggressive, and it's just a sanding compound that you apply to the wheel itself. And you apply it to the wheel, and then you start using the wheel on the rim itself, and it'll remove all this stuff, believe it or not. I will make the video on how to do this. Since it's a long video, it's a long process. I can't show you everything at once. Most people get bored and don't want to watch the whole video. But let's also talk safety. Gloves are a great idea. Just to protect your hands, you know. Of course, eyeglasses, you know, protect your eyes, you know. Um, of course, for your ears, these little earplugs work well because you are using some tools that do create quite a bit of noise. So these work really well. They're a couple of dollars, not that bad. These are a couple of dollars, not bad. Gloves, of course, a couple of dollars, not bad. Um, the most important thing, and I'll emphasize the most important thing, is breathing apparatus. Something to protect your lungs. You don't want to inhale, the aluminum itself. When you're sanding it down, the aluminum basically is like a powder, and you could easily inhale it. It's not a good idea to inhale anything like this. Um, these chemicals can be harsh to your lungs also. This stuff flies everywhere. Um, so yeah, you want to protect yourself, your eyes, your lungs, and your hearing. Not trying to scare you guys. It's not about, you're gonna get hurt, or just be cautious of things. Protect yourself. It's a good idea. Um, I actually know a guy that did this for a whole year, and he did it without any kind of protection for his breathing. And one day he wound up at the hospital. So it can be pretty dangerous. So just be aware that it's it can be a little dangerous. Okay, but it is fun. It's fun to do this. I enjoy it. I have all sorts of crazy things for polishing. I don't know if you notice, I've got, see again, I got different kinds of paper, all sorts of paper. These come in a roll. You can buy these as well. Got this stuff over here. Um, Again, sandpaper. I got this one for aluminum or stainless steel, but this is mostly for aluminum or stainless steel, or on cars like this. You know, it'll bring this to a gleam better than probably the factory would have done. So um, this one, this is all this is a, well, it's actually a buffing. I'm not sure what they call it, sander buffer. Some people just call them sander buffers, but I use it for the final gleam of the rim. The final thing that you'll need is, again, this green rouge applied to a soft wheel, sewn buffing wheel. And I'll show you later how this works. But this is the final stage. There's only two stages. You use an aggressive one to remove all the imperfections from the rim. And the final stage would be this, to bring this to a gleam or to a high shine like this one is. The very end, you could buy mothers, or actually this is Blue Magic. You could buy mothers, and there's other compounds that you could use to clean this. I could still clean this with this, and it'll make it look even way nicer. So there's several stages that you can do, and of course I could show you guys later all that. As you can see, I got all sorts of crazy things here for buffing and polishing. Uh, Sandpaper, more, just a little bit of everything. Steel wool, fine steel wool. This is to protect your arms. You don't want to get all this stuff all over you. I got sandpaper here, 1500, 2000. More sanding bars. You can get all this through the Eastwood Company. You can look it up on the internet, or I could just do this. Eastwood Company. There's a phone number there if you want to get a hold of them. They can supply you with all this, anything you really need, anything. I've been buying stuff from them over the years, and It works really well. All their product works really well. So, not really advertising or trying to promote Eastwood, but that's the place where I get it. That's all I'm trying to say. Um, what else can I tell you about all this? Well, you could do it on your own. You could start off with a small piece of aluminum. It doesn't have to be a rim. I don't know. Let's see what I got here. I don't know. What do I have here that I could show? Well, here we go. Here's a little brackets made out of aluminum. I could probably polish this in about 10 minutes. And I should show how to do this. It's just a bracket maybe for an alternator or something, you know. But it is aluminum. And I could polish this like in 5 minutes. It wouldn't take long. But for this, you don't really want to use these big tools. You want to use one of these guys. You know, as it spins, you know, you just put it on there and use the right compounds, and it'll polish this like to gleam, like almost like brand new. So that's another story for another day. So, anyways, if you could gradually just acquire some of this stuff, you know, you could do this on your own. People could do this for you, but it gets really expensive. You know, it's really expensive to have somebody do it for you. You could do it yourself, and again, you don't really need all these tools. It's really simple. I guess I could really just show you now. One thing I've done, you know, actually, believe it or not, I've actually I could actually put the wheel, my rim, on this buffer. Some people call it a buffer polisher. I could literally mount this on here. This thing spins at about 3,300 RPMs. And I actually can mount it to the table here. There's some holes here where I actually mount it to the table, and the rim will be here. And I could actually do it here too. I could probably show that later on, how I came up with that idea. You know, you find ways. The other thing is, so let's say you don't have that buffer polisher. Okay? Say you don't have one. Well, you do have a car, I think. If not, you shouldn't be doing this if you don't have a car. But what I found out is that I actually brought my car in here, you know, and you could literally mount the wheel here. And maybe you know, maybe I could show you how this could work. You know, I don't know if I should or shouldn't show you. Yeah, let's do it. You know, why not? So you mount this guy here on your wheel, on your car. Here, give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna mount it because I actually want to show you guys what you could do. See, just mount the wheel here. I recommend you use all 5 lug nuts, right? See, I'm gonna show you what to do. Probably takes just a few seconds. It won't take that long. So mount this guy on your car. I'm gonna just give you a brief idea of what you can do. Tighten it down, of course. You know, tighten it down. I'm just gonna tighten it down a little bit just for demonstration purposes. All right. So here we go. Okay. Let's do this. So here, I'll show you. Let me turn my car on. Put it in gear. So see this? And what you can do, really simple, all you gotta do is this. As you can see, it's already cleaning the rim by simply using no tools whatsoever. See this? Now, you could raise the RPMs on the car, or what you can do is block one of the wheels off Let's see here. Let me see if I can block one of the wheels off. Okay. I'll block one of the wheels off so the other one doesn't turn. Okay, here we go. See this? I guess you got the idea, right? So you almost don't need all those tools. Okay? So turn off the car. Okay, so you got the idea now. See this? See? So you would think, okay, I can't do this. It's going to cost me a lot of money and tools. But again, I showed you how you could do it in the car itself. Right? Okay, guys. So for now, let's cut this video down, and we could show you in the next video how to polish the rim. Okay. All right, guys. This is El Hot Rodder signing off to the next video. All right, guys.